Hey everyone, welcome to episode 77 of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon
I'm
Mejia.
Edgar Acosta.
And every single podcast we bring you the roundup of the week's best geek and tech news, and of course we discuss that news and anything else we're interested in.
In Geek News this week, we'll talk about the temporary tattoo that controls your computer, Uber's self-driving car tests, the new Mary Jane Watson, the new Harry Potter books, and much, much more.
Absolutely. And in our discussion section, we're going to be talking about our interview with Vasily Mahanenko, author of The Way of the Shaman series, a wonderful lit RPG series. His third book came out a few weeks ago. It's absolutely amazing. It's a great story, and we'll play a clip at the end of the show for that interview. You can, of course, watch the full interview at geekbytespodcast.com, where we have a bunch of nerdy, geeky stuff that we've done for your entertainment. We are going to begin our show, though, with Geek News. Now, our first story is going to be about the gold tattoos that control computers. The Microsoft research and researchers at MIT's Media Lab have made gold leaf temporary tattoos that can act as a user interface for mobile devices through an NFC chip. Duo Skin is the name of the product. It uses the gold leaf design that kind of looks like jewelry and can be attached anywhere on your skin and can detect touch and communication with the Arduino hidden in a sleeve. So the Arduino is a combination circuit board operating system kind of thing. That's the computer hardware that tells it what to do. The team has demonstrated touch input, audio, and display with wireless communication. So this is kind of a cool little product. It kind of shows where technology might be going. So instead of touching your screen and tapping and then swiping, you may in the future just tap and swipe your temporary tattoo.
It looks good. It's more like a trend, to be honest with you. I don't know if you've already seen the gold-plated jewelry temporary tattoos that are just tattoos in general. Yep. I guess somebody just eventually just stuck two wires for like, hey, it conducts electricity, and just went from there. You've seen probably a couple of videos on Facebook about the electronic conducting pen or pencils that people had drawn like little roadmaps or pretty much mock circuit boards, and just it looks like an awesome school project. Looks like almost something you would see at a science fair kind of deal. But it pretty much it just goes from there on to showing that how much technology has evolved into. I can't believe they haven't done a fashion line. Not just little gold tattoos, but see somebody go walk down the runway, a la kind of like the Tron outline bodysuit.
I think that would be fascinating to see, especially if it has a computer interface with it. People would just touch the model any different place, and different things would happen on a computer screen. And that's the kind of fashion show I wouldn't mind going to.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a nice novelty, honestly. I don't expect anything any more out of it other than, of course, the RF chip that you can actually insert onto your skin. So when there's a little sensor, you just put it on there, and you'll either can pay with it. Like I've seen the Apple Pay version of it with the RF chip. I've seen people, of course, entry, and I haven't seen. It's only in movies and hardcore places is those Retina scan ones. The Retina scan ones are the more advanced version of that, if at least for security. But touching tattoos,
Hey, I think it's cool. That's the kind of tattoo that I would be interested in getting personally.
All right, more tech related stuff. Intel's wireless VR helmet. Intel announced an all new in one VR headset along with the Intel Merged Reality platform at the Intel Developers Forum Tuesday. Project Alloy is a wireless with cameras, sensors, and input controls built in. It promises 6 degrees of freedom, meaning you can move in any direction you wish. Input comes in hand tracking done by RealSense cameras using a 1080p infrared and lasers.
Absolutely. Now, this is kind of cool in my opinion. Intel's getting into the virtual reality game. We already have Oculus Rift. We have Microsoft in VR, PlayStation already doing it. And now those are game companies. So the fact that a chip manufacturer would also get into the game with their own wireless headset, which means no cords, and also with hand motion tracking technology that actually bought RealSense specifically for this kind of tech, which means you don't need controllers. You can actually just track your hands in real time when you're in virtual reality. That's definitely a step above the wands those Wii-like wands that are currently available for the Oculus Rift and HTC Vive. Now, whether or not it catches on as being a thing or is as accurate as these other things, we don't know yet. There hasn't been any public display. This is just the announcement that they have completed working on it, and they just gave us information. So, but I personally am looking forward to trying to see what this thing does.
VR is pretty much here. It's just depending on where you get it and what kind you get it. Of course, you get your money's worth depending on what you're buying. Because we talked about it before, that we've seen the VR headgear. I've seen them at Walmart. I've seen them through infomercials. Now I have seen them now in Ross and Marshalls. They're all going for about $20, if not under, which is like, it's just a basic hard plastic version of the Google Cardboard. So you're not gonna get all the fancy lights, switches, bells and whistles and whatnot on there. But hey, it's here. It's showing that it's becoming more of a thing. I haven't seen a lot of people though, because wearing them unless you're like me. Sometimes when I would be riding the bus or when you're just waiting around for something, the only bad part is, of course, your eyes are being covered, so you might be missing the bus going by because you're enjoying.
You might miss the bus. You might miss that guy who's robbing you blind.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
It's still a fun thing to kind of mess with. I love the Gear VR. It's probably the most accessible of them. It's the cheapest of the more advanced hardware systems at about $100, as long as you have the correct phone to work with it. These other versions are essentially fancy Google Harbors, like you said, but Intel's getting into the game. Maybe they're going to open up the market, make these things better. Competition is always good for technology. And I say, hey, whoever has the best tech, good luck to you. Hope you guys win. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see more of it. I agree with Reggie Watts I heard him on a podcast on Nerdist. Like, they want a retina tracking on it, because because you could turn your head at 360 degrees and whatnot, but it still doesn't, it's still formatted just to look forward, unless it could keep your eye tracking of your eye movement, instead of having to turn your whole head around. Instead of like turning your head to look right, just turn your eyes to look right.
Yeah, no, retina tracking is definitely an iteration of virtual reality we're looking forward to in the future. It's not something that's quite ready yet. I'm sure we're going to see in future iterations. But moving on to our next tech story, we have Uber testing out its new autonomous vehicle. Bloomberg reports that later this month, Uber plans to allow customers to ride in self-driving cars in Pittsburgh. Folks, and if this is something you're excited about, let us know. We're happy to see your comments in our live stream of the podcast. The rides will be free and assigned at random, so you're not paying for these potentially deadly self-driving cars trying to murder you. The cars will be modified Volvo XC90s SUVs. Uber also agreed to buy Otto this July, the driverless truck startup founded by Anthony Levanowski, who spearheaded the creation of Google's self-driving car, and Lara Ron, former heads of Google Maps. So Uber's really investing in the driverless technology for their vehicles, mostly because that's probably their biggest expense as a taxi company are the drivers. So it kind of makes sense that they would be interested in this tech. And if they can expand into the industrial driverless system with, semis moving large amounts of goods, that's a secondary market that they're interested in.
Not sound like bad, yeah, putting out the actual human drivers out of business. But hey, that's the route of technology.
It's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, especially one of the simplest forms of a way of living is transportation. And once you get rid of the hassle of having to deal with humans, I think it's always going to be there, but to get rid of the human error, of accidents happen and whatnot, who's going to complain about that? I think they probably have already done the test. I can only imagine what the percentages compared to how many self-driving car-related accidents compared to human related accidents. I think it's going to show a big. It's going to be there in black and white. Hey, let's go robots.
This is definitely
computers.
tech that's going to happen, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years down the line. It's just too useful. It cuts costs too much on transportation, which means if they can cut costs there, your goods are going to be cheaper. And yes, a lot of people are going to have to shift into different forms of employment. A lot of them will stick around as just kind of watchdogs over the automated vehicles for a while. But me personally, I can't wait to not have to drive a car for 2 hours or an hour a day, going to and from work in California. I'm more than happy to let this computer, as long as it's safe for everybody involved. So that's me.
Yeah, the only bad part about it is You're gonna have to drive by the rules, even as a passenger. So you can't do that extra speeding, going over, past the speed limits, trying to get to certain places on time.
What do you care if your car is going 65 miles an hour as long as
You're
you're not paying
safe.
attention? I mean, it's less of a hassle for you. You don't have to worry about it at all. Heck, at some point, I see like those time cop cars where they have no windows, so you don't have to even pay attention to the road at some point. If it's automated and cool enough and safe enough, get rid of windows entirely. Just make it, or plasma screens all around the entire interior of your cabin. Make it an experience going to and from work, or leasing and sharing. All kinds of fun options for this automated car future.
Totally, I can't wait. Let's see. Let's get into some more other entertainment news. Guardians of the Galaxy will be in the Infinity Wars movie. This week, during Facebook Live broadcast, actor Vin Diesel confirmed that the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy would appear in the movie Avengers: Infinity Wars. He didn't give any more details, likely because of the script for the movie isn't even finished. But but we look forward to seeing the Star-Lord to charm his way into Black Widow's tights.
Yep, absolutely, and that's going to be a plot point. He's trying to be charming. He's the goofy, charming guy. I think it's cool. We have quite a ways to wait for the Infinity Wars. They've already cut it down from 2 movies to 1 at this point. So I'm not sure how much more changes they're going to do, but I assume that they're going to put all the other characters that they've invested their time in into this one kind of film at this point as this huge, gigantic mashup. And whether or not it works out, I'm excited to see it at least.
I understand, complications of things, mostly financial and also scheduling. To get so many stars to be put into, like, if they were to make it into a two-parter, don't get me wrong, like the Harry Potter cast, even the Hunger Games cast, it was small enough that you can turn it into a two-parter for a couple of their movies. But this Infinity Wars is so big, though, so many characters, so many people. It's going to be hard to schedule unless, depending on how the script is written, to squeeze everybody else, be on the same screen at the same time. I just wonder which amongst all of them, who's going to be the biggest diva to want to have more screen time.
That is always the question: who's the biggest diva on set? I hear they get a special star on their dressing room.
Oh yeah, there's been little rumors that as for Groot, obviously Mr. Vin Diesel's not going to really be there physically, but I heard he's a little bit of a diva according to other celebrity resources.
Is he like demanding Dungeons and Dragons gaming sessions in between takes, and super fast cars to be on set at all times and available to him?
Something like that. But when again, you're a voice. You're just the voice. You're not even a motion capture suit character really in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So it's kind of like, especially when your line is "I am Groot," it's not like that can't be mimicked at all for the rest of the movie. So,
So don't get too comfortable, Vin Diesel. I'm sure there are other gravelly voice men who are just lining up, waiting to take that role from you if they need to.
Any characters that you'd like to see interact with each other in the Marvel Center universe?
The X-Men is always the answer for me.
God,
The
yes.
X-Men and the Avengers and Spider-Man. I see Spider-Man coming into the Infinity Wars, of course. Not that Marvel's playing nice with, I think Sony owns Spider-Man. Yeah, so Spider-Man hopefully will show up as long as Spider-Man Homecoming does a good job. Now, speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming, we actually have more news in that regards. The actress Zendaya is getting the role of Mary Jane Watson in the latest in Spider-Man Homecoming. She is the Disney Channel actress. I've seen her in a couple shows. She's not amazing to me, but hey, maybe she's grown up a little. Maybe she's taken some acting classes and she's really, grabbed that role. This is supposed to be, according to sources, more of a high school slice of life kind of movie than it is a superhero movie as much. So as a child actress, she kind of fits in the role of a high school student. She actually looks like she's in high school, which is always good, considering that this is the youngest Peter Parker we have seen yet. I mean, when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man, he looked 30 as a high school student, and it doesn't quite work out as well. People thought she was going to be a different character, but she scored the big role of Mary Jane Watson.
She's really good. My own thing, I know it's going to happen, and it's already been talks. Of course, those racist fools talking about her ethnicity. Like, how dare Mary Jane be a black girl? My thing is, she better be a redhead. If they don't make her a redhead, that's my only issue. That's the only color issue I'm going to have with her if she's not a redhead. But anyway, Zendaya's been awesome. I've seen her in Casey Undercover on the Disney Channel. I remember seeing her from the TV show Shake It Up. I don't know if she's really done anything dramatic, but she's been involved in a lot of media for a while. A long time ago, they had issues on her because of her look, her ethnicity, and all that, and which is like, who cares anymore? But can't wait to see her, because especially with seeing her in Casey Undercover, she has done some action scenes, even if it's all stunt coordinated and everything. Obviously, she could pull it off. She could do some kicks and whatnot. I don't see her really.
So you think she's going to do a good job as Mary Jane Watson?
She's gonna do well. I'm not sure, depending on what the role requires. I don't know if she's gonna be doing any butt kicking herself, or she's just gonna play the damsel in distress. But we'll see how they manage to work her out.
I'm curious how they're going to go around the Gwen Stacy thing in the Spider-Man universe, because in high school you're supposed to date Gwen Stacy, and Mary Jane Watson doesn't come into play until I think like college in the comic book. So maybe she's going to do a cameo. I don't know. Well, I'm excited to see a Marvel-based Spider-Man movie, though.
Well, if they're doing race mix, you might as well make Gwen Stacy an Asian chick. Why not?
As long as the story's good and everyone has a good time, why not? You're right.
All right. More other entertainment related. Bleach, a live action movie. Just as the manga is ending, there's apparently a live action Bleach film in the works. The news was revealed via leak from next week's upcoming weekly Shonen Jump via Channel 2. Bleach creator Tight.
Yeah, that's it. Tite Kubo.
Tite Kubo is quoted as saying he, as an original creator, will assist at the production as much as he can, so the movie is not only enjoyable for new fans, but satisfying for long-time ones too. So a Bleach series, or not series, but at least a movie, that'd be cool to watch.
Absolutely. I'm kind of hesitant to get excited about an anime, a live-action version of an anime, just because it hasn't been done well before. I mean, the few examples we have of that transition just doesn't quite work. I mean, there was a Naruto one, there's a Dragon Ball Z one of these, there's a live action version of Bleach, there was a live action version of Attack on Titans, and they all totally sucked hairy things. They weren't pleasant, they weren't fun, they weren't done well. I mean, they tried really hard. I mean, I'll give them that. The special effects budget was spent in every single case, but they just never could get the same level of awesomeness that you can in an animated movie, because there are no physical boundaries there. So this, while I hope it's good, cross my fingers, hope that I'm afraid they're going to stick a needle in my eye.
You know who's going to do a good version of this? Fan films. A fan film version of this will come out excellent. Give them a chance. Of course, for the CG effects and whatnot, that's up to them if they want to cough up the money to do that for themselves. But fan films will make an excellent version of this. We're still, of course, waiting for the Willem Dafoe Death Note to come out. Of course, we've seen some live action versions of anything else, but once again, fan films is going to be the way to go. Go take that as at least as a frame of work to see what to go off of. Go from, like, of course, big theaters, big budget movie companies. Learn from that. You'll know what to do. Hopefully, you invest your money correctly in the right section.
Well, Death Note, I think, works well for a live action version of anime, because it's a suspense movie. It's not this super amazing action, beat 'em up where everybody has superpowers and it requires a ton of special effects. You can invest your money in setting good actors, like William Dafoe and other people. So Death Note as a suspense, a kind of crime drama almost as a movie, I think that has greater potential, because you don't have to have a bunch of weird special effects or invest 75% of your budget in weird CGI effects. You just need a guy in a costume as almost a background character, and everything else is done with regular people in a regular city, kind of murdering people through a magical book.
Yeah. Was there any other anime series or video games or anything that you would have wanted to see live action?
I would say all of them. I would like to see Sword Art Online as a live action movie. I think One Punch Man would be totally weird and off the wall. You could actually do like a 30-minute version of One Punch Man as a live action movie from a fan point of view, and it would still be pretty amazing.
I think to me, a nice, really good live action, especially dealing with medieval Japan, based on the video game Samurai Showdown, would have been really cool as a
I
live
feel like
action.
yeah, that could actually work because it's a period piece, so you already have to invest in the costumes. But then with the hip hop element, you could get a lot of modern actors, and it would feel more modern. Same thing, kind of with the what's it, Afro Samurai.
Hmm.
Same kind of issues there. You'd have that nice little combo of old period piece with modern hip hop, and you could use a lot of modern actors because it has these more Americanized opportunities there.
Hopefully, it doesn't get whitewashed as they did with everything else. So here's hoping.
Cross our fingers. Okay, on to our next entertainment story, folks. We have Marvel and Hulu teaming up to bring you The Runaways. Now, if you don't know who The Runaways are, they are a Marvel property. The storyline basically goes that there's a bunch of kids who are sons and daughters of supervillains, and they didn't realize it until one day their parents reveal it to them, and all these superpowered teenagers come together to fight against their parents' evil villainy and reign. And Marvel and Hulu have come together to order at least a first episode to see how it goes. Coming from the creators of Gossip Girl, Josh Schwartz and Stephanie Savage, they've kind of put this together, and they have scripts, they have a green light, and I'm looking forward to seeing this a live action version of this actually really great comic.
I don't know much about the Runaways myself, but it sounds good. I'm surprised it didn't get worked out with Netflix, but who knows? Unless it becomes an exclusive, they'll hopefully maybe eventually show those episodes on Netflix, because so far Netflix and Marvel have a great collaboration to have for media, especially with those Netflix exclusives. Nowhere else are you going to see Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, of course, Iron Fist coming out later on, and then of course the Defenders once you put piece all those guys together. So it's just going to be nothing but awesome.
Well, I think this one kind of lends towards a teen drama with superpowers kind of thing. And Hulu, of course, wants a piece of that Marvel action with some good shows. Now that they've lost CBS entirely and all those good shows like Supergirl, The Flash, Green Arrow, none of those are showing up on Hulu anymore. They have to come up with something original, and they're a little behind. They're not doing as many originals as Amazon or Netflix, and so I think this is their attempt to kind of grab that market share, or at least a little piece of the pie.
Yeah, totally. I just can't wait to see some more. And as much as I want to see Legion and such, just because it's the closest thing to X-Men related, whatnot, I want to see my X-Men, man. I just can't. I miss them so much.
Again, they're doing an X-Men pilot,
Yeah, but
so we'll have to wait and see when that comes out. But I mean, I have more hope for Legion as an FX show. I think it's going to be. So maybe that'll be racy and interesting. There's some very interesting opportunities there, story wise and structurally. Inside of his brain and outside of the real world, variety of superpowers. So I think that has the best chance of any of the current slate of superhero television shows.
mm-hmm. I can't wait. More comic book related awesomeness. The cast of Batman 66 returns for a new animated movie. It's been over a year since Adam West revealed that he and Burt Ward would reprise their roles as Batman and Robin for a new animated feature. But now we have the first look at it in action. This week, the trailer for the animated movie was released, featuring the vocal talents of Adam West, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar. Batman Return of the Cape Crusaders will be available digitally on October 11th on Blu-ray and on November 1st.
Yep, this is kind of cool. It's kind of nice to see Batman 66 come back. It's kind of a cute trailer. It's the regular part of the animated movie that is kind of redubbed some stuff for the premiere of the movie. That's nice. Like, what else can I say?
Yeah, I don't expect it. Don't expect it to be dark because it is 66. So I don't know if you're going to be seeing the pals, bangs, and zooms from when they're going to do a fighting scene.
You're probably going to see those.
But my thing with Batman was always interesting. The like chola eyebrows that he has painted on his cowl. And also wanted to see more of the bad guys. Don't get me wrong, Julie Newmar is awesome as Catwoman. Eartha Kitt, I think, would have been a little cooler. But that's just me, just because I love her voice. I want to see more bad guys. I want to see, even heaven forbid The day that happens, Mr. Adam West and Burt Ward get taken away from our world. Of course, with voice talents like Ralph Garman, they could mimic Adam West. Why not? They've done it before. They've had Adam West do the voice of, I think, Thomas Wayne in the Batman series with Dietrich Bader as the voice of Batman, and that was kind of cool, like little homage, being the father of. I want to see more, especially with the 66. I love the cheesy gadgets of the utility belt, like the sharks. If you ever watched the Batman movie, the anti-shark spray that he just happened to have on his utility belt.
I don't doubt that they're going to have all the crazy bat gadgets that you can handle in this animated version. I'm kind of more of a fan of the comic reading, the readout, the Batman 66 that was written by Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman. I think that was really interesting at that point. This one is kind of cool still. And in the chat room, Amy Acosta says hello to everyone. Hello, Amy Acosta. I'm back right back at you.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I wish they had more. I'm once again, I'm glad they went with Catwoman, but I'm surprised they didn't try to cash in on the Joker hotness. He's pretty much the popular guy, but of course, Cesar Romero is no longer around.
Yeah, they're definitely working with nostalgia and getting the original cast back together. So I'm afraid Cesar Romero just wasn't available, unfortunately, for those reasons. Now, moving on to our next story, we have Harry Potter. Yes, that's right, folks. You're going to get some new Harry Potter-ish books. J.K. Rowling said that she was going to stop writing these stories, but she totally lied. I think she had some bills that were due. In just a couple months, a new set of books were released called Pottermore Presents. Pottermore Presents is a series of bite-sized ebooks that dig deep into the Harry Potter stories with tidbits taken from Pottermore's archives and original writings from J.K. Rowling. The series offers Harry Potter fans insights into stories, settings, and characters that were all lovingly curated by Pottermore, which is the official Harry Potter website that shows original stories and clips into movies, that kind of cool stuff. The books are going to be called Hogwarts, an incomplete and unreliable guide. We're going to have shorts. The second book is going to be called Short Stories from Hogwarts of Power. The next one's going to be called Politics and Pesky Poltergeist. The next one is going to be Short Stories from Hogwarts of Heroism. And Hardships and Dangerous Hobbies will be released all on September the 6th. You're going to have quite a chance to read some great stories. Some of them written by J.K. Rowling.
Eventually, once the money starts running out again, you're gonna see Harry Potter and the Pirates and Harry Potter in space. Harry Potter goes to the dentist. I don't know.
Or Harry Potter the Third. Albus Potter. They're getting their own stories at this point on stage and screen. Hopefully, in the future, we'll cross our fingers that eventually the kids of Harry Potter, Hermione, and Ron are gonna all kind of get their own movies at some point. I don't doubt it. As soon as that city play is kind of up and running and going on its own, then we're gonna see all those other characters who are actually beloved by the audience, because there was some fan fiction that was written about Albus Potter. And it was so amazing that J.K. Rowling kind of gave her blessing to the fan fiction author to actually produce it and sell it if he wanted to. That kind of concept was actually taken and turned into a whole stage play.
Yeah, just can't wait till that. I remember the little theatrical of what was it? The Cursed Child, was it?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yeah, I can't wait till that comes out to States to check it out. I wonder if they would get it would be the same cast from Europe, or they would kind of like semi-Broadway and just get a whole brand new cast just to,
I'd say they probably do the Broadway version where you just recast it in the United States for the American audience. Just because you can do it in multiple locations that way. You can still run the London version, and you can do a New York version and then an LA version. I don't know that anybody's so famous from the London version that you'd have to bring them to the United States to do it, or they could just do it the roving shows where you're in a city for a couple weeks and everybody gets a chance to do it over the course of a couple of years.
That's true.
Of course, our next story.
Final Fantasy, which one? 15? Final Fantasy 15 delayed in November. Fantasy 15 has been delayed to November 29, 2016 worldwide, confirming rumors that emerged over the weekend. According to Square Enix, a new date will allow the development teams time to further polish and conduct quality testing so that the reality of the game can be matched the expectations of both the fans and the creative teams. In a statement, Final Fantasy 15 director Hajime Tabata said that the team hopes to create a level of freedom and realism previously unseen in the series. And they need a little bit more time to deliver on the vision and are confident that this new release date will help us achieve this. To help soothe fans, Square Enix has released a new hour of gameplay footage of the game. So
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'm excited that they're taking the extra time to polish this game up, because it's never good when you rush a game out the door, even if fans are clamoring for it. There's a ton of press and expectations. If your game just has bugs, don't release it. I'm more than happy to personally wait the extra couple months. I've waited years for Final Fantasy 15 at this point. I'm okay with waiting a couple more months if it's going to make me a better game.
oh yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done any kind of beta testing for certain fans. But then again, if you're, I would recommend definitely signing up for the Square Enix email on it because I've been getting those. I've forgotten even what I signed up for. But you get all these little tidbits on the information of the related to the games to keep you on tap when it's coming out and what's available. Sometimes, of course, via with social media like Twitter, you also get some more heads up of like, hey. So they're lighting out, oh, they're bringing out this new character, or like, oh, this new stage play is going to be happening, or like, oh, we're going to do some product testing in certain locations. Sometimes they do that too as well.
Yeah,
Like the
but
way
this game, it actually looks really pretty, so I understand why they need the extra time to do it. They're also doing some really interesting new content. They're actually making virtual reality experiences using the Final Fantasy characters and background. So they may be working on polishing that as well. So it's a thing. I'm sorry, guys, that it's delayed to November. So this is now your Thanksgiving present. So instead of my birthday present, it's going to be now my Thanksgiving present.
you could wait on it. It's gonna be fun either way. I can't see any really complaints on it.
So now on to our next video game story is going to be Harley Quinn and Deadshot are going to appear in Injustice 2 at Gamescom, which is where most of this video game news is coming from. That happened this week. It's a German video game conference. It was announced by the team behind Injustice 2, the DC beat 'em up, that both Harley Quinn and Deadpool are going to show up. We're playing the trailer on the recorded version of the podcast, folks. So if you're listening and watching live, sorry, but the trailer looks pretty cool. I believe they have Tara Strong as the voice of Harley Quinn, which is awesome to me. She, to me, is the classic Harley Quinn voice. I mean, no offense to Margot Robbie or anything, but Tara Strong is always going to be in my heart, partially at least, Harley Quinn. The animations, the attitude, it's all really cool. They're kind of playing off the success of the Suicide Squad by including both of them as playable characters, but I'm okay with that.
It's good. She looks similar, not identical to the Suicide Squad character on
So
it.
it's, of course, an alternate universe Harley Quinn, so you have to change the color scheme at least.
At least, yeah. Weird thing about that, I went to the mall recently. Went to a Spencer's, and yeah, Harley's all around, man. That Daddy's Little Monster shirt everywhere. I'm seeing a lot of girls dress up on that, and I no doubt it's going to be a big thing for this year. For
Did you buy
Halloween.
that for your daughter yet, man?
They didn't have it in her size, but anyways, it's gonna be awesome once it comes out. I played the Injustice. It's okay. It takes a little adjustment to the control. It's very Mortal Kombat-y, at least in the controller. I thought it'd be more of a Street Fighter kind of feel to it, but I liked it. If you play the story mode on it, it is great. I'm surprised that story mode is not its own little CG movie. If it's done right, it's an amazing storyline.
Yeah, there's definitely enough cutscenes for that to be its own animated feature at this point. But it's, like you said, it really does remind you of the control scheme of Mortal Kombat, the pace of the characters, how they move. It does remind you of that company. And it might be the fact that I think one of the companies that made Mortal Kombat kind of makes this. So it makes sense. It's not quite as fast paced as Street Fighter, like you say, but it still works. You get to see all your favorite superheroes beat each other up, and what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I just can't wait to play it. I had fun with the Injustice. I think I have that game.
You probably do somewhere in your digital library that you have anywhere, man.
Rolodex of games. All right, more video game related news. Konami's new Metal Gear game. Konami is making a new title called Metal Gear Survive, taking the place in an alternative universe. It's a co-op survival game that sits after Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. This is the first Metal Gear Solid console game that Konami has announced since its creator Hideo Kojima left. Kojima.
Yes, he didn't die, folks. He was just let go from the company, and he's making this really weird game with Norman Reedus, apparently, funded by PlayStation. You might have seen it at one of the previous game conventions we have on our website if you want to look at the trailer. But this new Metal Gear Solid game, I don't think it has anyone from the original, like the main characters. It's set at a weird place. They're pulled into this alternate universe. It looks more like a zombie survival game than a Metal Gear Solid game, and some people have an issue with that. Some people are like, "Hey, cool, anything Metal Gear, I'm for," and then we're like, "This isn't a Metal Gear game. It seems like something else."
That's how it was when the first time the PSP came out and they announced a Metal Gear game for the PSP. It looked awesome, but I wound up finding out it's a weird card game. So with this one, obviously you don't got Raiden. It looks like it looks like you got Raiden, or at least a version of Raiden. Solid Snake. I don't know if you're gonna see Big Boss in there, but hey, give it a try. You know, that's the point of demos and trailers. You know, give it a chance. You like it. You know, that's how I got all hyped up for the Mighty Number 9, and it got some bad reviews.
Then you were sorely disappointed. Did you ever download that game or a demo for it?
No, yeah.
No.
If anything, if I could rent it, I would rather rent it.
I think
You know,
it's on sale right now. If you want to go pick it up, I mean, I saw it on it was a GameFly advertisement for the game. It was like $8 to purchase it. So that kind of gives you a slight clue about the quality of the game that people kind of hold it in at this point. But hey, this is a game that's coming out in 2017. You like it, you don't. I say give it a try if you're into that franchise. But our next story is going to be about Fallout. Now this is a game that's definitely near and dear to my heart. Fallout 4. This is their last DLC package. That's downloadable content that expands the scope of the game, gives you new things to do, makes your core game last a little bit longer. And Bethesda is kind of going out with a bang. At Gamescom this week, they announced that their last DLC is going to be called Nuka World. And if you're familiar with the video game, Nuka-Cola is the very famous, it's supposed to be their like off-Coke brand for this world in which nuclear energy was the big thing. It even comes in a radioactive orange or a bright blue color. But it's going to allow you to build rides and become a raider, which are the bad guys in the games. So it's going to give you a lot of new things to do to kind of fill out this last bit of kind of a fun DLC package. And it's going to be released this month on August the 30th, so you don't even have to wait that long to enjoy the Raider Nuka-Cola goodness.
I saw it. I did see the play. I wasn't sure what it was for a long time. These DLC contents are insane. I just recently had Grand Theft Auto 5. They got these weird like stunt options on there. I love this content on it. I just didn't get into it. Did you wind up trying to find a Pip-Boy for yourself yet?
I was really hoping to do so when it first came out. Then I beat the game and it was like, oh, I'm already done. That's what DLC comes in. It makes the game fresh, gives you new things to do, which is cool if you own the game. And I didn't. I was renting at that point. And so I had to send it back and I'm like, okay, I have other things to do, other video games to spend dozens and dozens of hours on.
What are you playing right now again?
No Man's Sky, which is definitely time intensive. I think I spent the last 3 days mining for gold on just one planet so that I could sell that gold and buy a bigger spaceship. Literally just last 3 days, 4 hours. It's like a second job, 4-hour shifts, just shooting a laser at a gold rock, collecting resources, and it's still kind of fun because I know that I can craft things and go explore a beautiful galaxy and do this crazy stuff. It's as advertised. It's fun enough, I guess.
So are you colonizing and creating your own universe?
No, you're just kind of exploring some of the 15 quintillion galaxies. I mean, one of the fun things is just kind of go to different planets and see what resources they have, but also what kind of crazy creatures. Because the creatures are randomly generated and put together. So I've seen like some giant floating giraffes that are like 3 stories tall. And on the planet I'm on now, there are these little crab creatures that keep attacking me. And they're kind of annoying, but, that's just not everything's a herbivore. Some things are going to be meat eaters, including creatures that are going to attack you when they see you, and so that's just kind of the luck of the draw. But one of the fun things is just seeing these weird creatures that have these very phallic shapes occasionally, just because they're just random.
Yeah. Well, that's the only game that I'm seeing so far. That's new out there. Nothing's really been catching my eyes out there. I wanted to try out this Ninja Turtle game that just looks really close to the Eastman comic series.
Yeah. I think I've seen
done
that.
in color.
Yeah, so plenty of stuff coming out, folks. But that's going to be it for our Geek News section.
If you like this podcast and want to help support us, you can find out all the ways to do so at geekbytespodcast.com/support.
Now we're going to move on to our discussion section. Now, in our discussion section, folks, we talk about all the things that we're interested in that don't quite fit into the news section, things we're interested in. And this week, we're going to be talking about our interview with Vasily Mahanenko, author of the Way of the Shaman series. He helped popularize the genre of lit RPG in both Russia and the United States. In his story, it's about a hacker who is put in a virtual reality prison that he can't escape from. He's just stuck in a pod and has to basically live in virtual reality from now on. And he's a bunch of weird, game-changing adventures, and it's very interesting and a very interesting commentary on the industrialized prison system at the same time. His first book is definitely my favorite. It's a lot of crafting, but he has books 2 and 3. In Russian, he has up to book 7. And he gave some huge spoilers about the series, like in book 5 and 6. And he lots of great backstory. He does speak Russian. His English is a little bit limited, but it was still super fun to do. And I hope you guys enjoy listening to our little clip of the interview. You can, of course, watch the full interview at geekbytespodcast.com. It's like an hour and a half, so we're not going to play all of it for you. But here it goes. Hey, everybody. I'm Ramon Mejia from Geek Bytes Podcast. Today, I have the distinct privilege of talking to one of the men responsible for the popularization of lit RPG in both Russia and the United States. Vasily Mahanenko, the author of The Way of the Shaman and Galacticon series. Zdravствуйте and welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's very nice to see you, to hear you, and to speak with you.
See, this guy's good on the internet, man. I got to tell you, you're doing really nicely. For people who don't know who you are, Vasily, can you tell them a little bit about yourself and your background as an author?
What can I say about myself? First of all, I'm a Russian author, and I'm one of those who create such genre like lit RPG. 3 or 4 years ago, I really don't remember, I was creating the first books, which called The Way of Shaman, Book 1, The Beginner. In Russia, it was like this. And after this, it very surprised was for me. The people from Russia was very pleased with this genre, and they was famous. They was asking me. They asked me to create another book and to write another book. I was very surprised because I never thought that such genre and such literature can be so populated but it was. So I sat and create another book and started to write the second book. But our people wants to give some description about literature which I was written. They asked me, "What do you write? What do you write?" I said, "It's some kind of cyberpunk." They say, "No, it's not cyberpunk. It's something like another." I said, "Wow, maybe it's some kind of RPG." They, no. What does it mean, RPG? So I'm Dmitry Rus and Alexei Bobel, it's my agent, sit together and decided how to call this genre. And 4 years ago, we create one word, and it was one word, sorry, and it was lit RPG. We was those who create this genre. And after this, when readers ask me, "In what genre do you write?" I answer them, "In genre of lit RPG." They say, "What?" I say, "It's okay, it's normal genre, it's perfect." Well, After this, I was create my series about Shaman, the whole 7 books in this genre about this character, and for the 3 years in Russia was created more than 4,000 different series, different books in genre lit RPG. It was very popular genre in Russia. It was very good books. It was very awful books. Some books consist only. Wait for a second. Only.
Okay, I understand what you mean. That the lit RPG genre has a lot of different books. Some are good, some are bad.
Only numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
This word is number.
Mm.
Well, some books consist only numbers, no else, no plots, no character, no anything, just numbers. And people read it. People interested in it. And it was very surprised for me and for everyone here. So I'm continuing to write in this genre right now, and after I was finished the Way of Shaman, I continue to write the new series. It's called Dark Paladin. Well, I finished the first book this month. I send it to editor. Editor. First of all, I want to say that my English is not so very good. It has to be. So I use Google Translate in some words I don't remember.
It's okay. We understand that you're doing very well with English so far. I gotta say, I'm sure the people who are watching are more than happy to see it. But I'm very interested that you're actually reading another lit RPG book called The Dark Paladin. Is that set in the same universe as The Way of the Shaman? Is it in the same game, or it's different entirely?
The Dark Paladin is from our world.
Okay.
It's not the world of Shaman or another world. It's from those world in where we live, in what we live. So I think you will find this book very nice.
It sounds interesting. Let me ask you if I'm describing it correctly. So it takes place in our world, and our world has RPG mechanics?
Yes.
Is that what it happens?
Yeah. It's some kind of lit RPG, real RPG. In our world, some kind of lit RPG mechanics, and it's some kind of Matrix. Do you know the film Matrix? So in this film, some kind of lit RPG was. And my Dark Paladin will be some kind of Matrix.
Okay, so now everyone's going to ask me, when can we expect the Dark Paladin to come to the United States or into English?
Well, I think September my editor will finish. Okay. Cut this book, and to translate this book it takes 4 months. I think, and so January or February next year it will be in English.
Okay, that's wonderful. I'm sure anybody who's watching this is probably yelling in excitement, saying, "We get a new Vasily book! Yay!" So yeah. I'm sure they're glad to hear that. Let's talk briefly about the books that are already out for you. We have Start the Game, Galacticon. Can you tell anybody who's never read the book what that one's about very briefly?
Well, briefly, what? About Shaman or about Paladin? About Shaman.
Galacticon.
Start
the Game.
Yeah. Oh, Galacticon, yeah. Well, what can I say about this book? it was my first try to write a book about space. I'm not a science fiction author. I'm just fiction author. But as other people, I wanted to use myself in any different genres. So I tried to write books in general science fiction. I can't say that my trying was very good, really. I can't say that Galactagon is the perfect book which I was right. No. I can't see objectively. Yeah. Galactagon is a book about one person who create everything he can to get the final goal. The final goal. It's a planet with a bill.
Mm-hmm.
And due his investigation in this planet, he meet people, he kill people, he take parts in spaceship battle and other interesting and different things. But there are two worlds in Galactagon: the world into the game and the world out
Mm-hmm.
the game. And the world out the game has his own plot and his own characters, which wants to shoot and to kill my main hero. So I wanted to create two worlds in one book about worlds of space and world of modern life, or not future life, but out of games. I can't say that I was.
I'll say that I really liked Galacticon. I liked the book, Start the Game, which is what it's called in English. It was very enjoyable to see a combination like contest within the online world where characters were competing to try to solve this puzzle and get this major prize. And there were consequences in game and in our world where people were trying to kill each other because there's so much money involved with the contest in the real world. And in game, your character had several interesting choices. They could have been super smart, had an advantage, but instead he chose the hard path, which is very often a part of your stories where your character doesn't choose the easy way. He chooses the hard way, and it makes him stronger for it. So I love Start the Game at Galacticon.
No, I can't say that this book is awful. No, but I know that I didn't do my best. I really didn't do my best. And the second Galactagon, I will try to describe everything which I didn't describe in the first book, because why the main character get some.
My thing is giving him credit for calling Barack Obama to his face the N-word.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the interview. If you're listening to the recorded version, we also record this live on Facebook. If you want to go check us out at geekbytespodcast.com or on Edgar or Acosta's Facebook page, you can see all the fun comments we had talking to the audience during that little bit that you saw recorded from the interview. But of course, if you want to watch the full interview with Vasily Mahanenko, you can watch it at geekbytespodcast.com. We'll have it up there with all nice, pretty graphics, or on our YouTube page. Just search for Geek Bytes Podcast, and you'll see it there as well. And we, of course, have a ton of other author interviews. We also have a lovely lit RPG recommendation page on our website at geekbytespodcast.com, including a wonderful article called Why I Love Lit RPG, in case you're interested in the video game stories that I've grown to love as a gamer and a lover of MMOs and RPG kind of stuff. But for Geek Bytes podcast, that's going to be it, folks. Thanks a lot for listening in. I'm Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgar Acosta.
Now remember, folks, to go geek out about something.